Up next is the first presentation from 3 learners from Action Read, who are featured tonight. This project was directed by local artist and writer and longtime Action Read collaborator, Dawn Matheson. I know this isn't a brochure, but before you are 3 museum display cases on loan from the art gallery at Gruff. Typically, museum cases contain objects of great significance intended for public viewing, items such as cultural artifacts, significant art pieces or objects of great value are kept secure under glass. The display cases, for the love of words, contains items that may appear to be of little value, ordinary, everyday disposable things. In fact, these items have changed lives. The 3 learners are going to tell you why. Since their tutors obviously know them best, they will introduce the learners.
Good evening. My name is Karen, and I am a tutor at Action Reads. The reason that I'm a tutor at Action Reads is because I attended this same event a few years ago, and I was so moved by the impact that Action Read was having on the learners that I decided then that I'd like to contribute in such a tangible way and do something to help someone. So in early 2017, so we have a bit of a relationship here, Courtney and I were matched as tutor and learner, and that was by Joanne, who I believe has a special expertise and uses very careful consideration when she makes her matches. Thank you, Joanne. In the beginning of our time together, I couldn't have imagined, and perhaps Courtney wouldn't have imagined either, a time when she'd be willing to stand up in public and speak or read. But Courtney has committed herself to her learning in all of our time together. She has worked very hard. She's opened herself up. She shares her life experiences. She has read and written and done lessons and other things that she will tell you about herself. And I would like to share that I think that asking for help as a person and coming forward is a really brave thing to do. And I think it's especially brave when you use that help that Courtney has to work hard to attain what it is that you need. So it is really my pleasure to introduce Courtney, who is brave and imaginative. Sorry, I hope you can hear me.
Yeah.
I'm generally loud enough.
Do you want to move it closer to
Take her box and box. I'm getting stage direction. There was no practice here for me. So I am proud to introduce Courtney and grateful for being able to have some of this journey with you. So please tell us, Courtney, about your box.
Like Karen said, my name is Courtney. I am 23 and from Guelph. I live with my parents and one sister. In my museum case is the book Peter Pan. When I was asked to do a speech here tonight, it wasn't hard for me to pick an item. Before coming to Action Read, I would never ever think of picking up a book. There was no point to. Not being able to read put a big wall in front of me. We don't realize how not being able to read affects everyday life. I felt alone, trapped in a bubble of not knowing how to read. I closed myself off, too embarrassed to go anywhere with friends. The fear of being judged loomed over me. If you had met me a few years ago, well, you probably wouldn't have met me. I would never be here doing this stand in front of you, I was a very different person back then. School was a nightmare because I was looked down upon, spoken to like I was stupid. I was made fun of because of my reading. The students would laugh and talk behind my back, acting like I wouldn't be able to hear them. So I didn't talk to anyone. I kept to myself. I always had poems and stories inside of me. And I always used my imagination. But I wasn't able to spell or use the words I wanted. I couldn't express myself. I do have a high school degree from here in Guelph, even though I didn't know how to read. It seemed like the school system passed me by. It was like I was invisible. I had trouble getting a job. So I went to Lutherwood, which is an organization that helps unemployed people enhance their skills. They sent me to Action Read for math training. Through that, I started to hear good things about Action Read. So I went on a waiting list and eventually was matched up with Karen. Karen is a very patient person. She doesn't get frustrated when I can't read a word or when I mix a word up. I joined a book club and a creative writing group. I worked my hardest. One day I felt ready, that I was able to finally read a book for the first time in my life. There were so many books I could have chosen, but I always wanted to read one of the classics. Scanning the shelves at Action Read, my eyes lay to the Peter Pan book. I watched all 7 Tinker Bell movies released by Disney. I wanted to know more about Neverland and the wonders that lay deep in the words of the Peter Pan book. To me, Tinkerbell was an outgoing fairy who was confident in what she did, what she does. The total opposite of me. I wish I was more like her, because I wasn't happy with who I was. I was pushed around a lot, and I felt like Tinkerbell wouldn't let anyone push her around. I picked it up and looked at it carefully. I could read the first few paragraphs, so I signed it out right then and there. I read the book every single day until I finished it. The chains that once held me broke. I felt like I was able to do anything. In my early 20s, I had done what others had done in their childhood. I could lose myself in a book. I've always loved going inside my imagination, and now I could do that in a book. And a year ago, I started writing. I wrote a book of poems about my life, and we published it here at Action Read. I'll leave you off with one of my favorite quotes from Peter Pan. I taught you to fight and to fly. What more could there be?
I'd like to bring up Emmett O'Neill, who will introduce learner Shawn Knight. Emmett.
Hey everyone, my name is Emmett O'Neill. I'm a retired high school teacher of 25 years. 5 years ago, I realized that I needed to put some service in my life, and a good friend of mine told me about Action Read. I was excited about doing it. I didn't really know what to expect, but it went far beyond my expectations as a retired teacher. That I found myself in a situation where I could teach people one-on-one. From a teaching point of view, if there's any of my colleagues in here, you know the difference between teaching 25 people at once and teaching one-on-one. But the most beautiful thing about Action Read, and to even tell you about it, I have to stop myself from cracking up. There are so many people in Action Read like Courtney tonight. And if that didn't break your heart, then check your pulse, okay? There are so many people at Action Read, students, learners, who never had the opportunity to have joy of learning, never had the opportunity to go through school and be educated successfully. And it's a shame, and it breaks your heart. But when you get to Action Read and you get to work with these people who, for the first time in their lives, are succeeding in education and having a happy experience learning that was denied them, it was such a wonderful place. And I'm honored to work there. One of these students was Shawn, who I met 5 years ago. Shawn couldn't read a word. Like literally could not read a word. And I'm still in awe over the courage he displayed at walking through that door and saying, I can't read, I need help. Well, you know, I like to say, when he first came in Action Read, he was 5'8". Now he's 6'1". Because he's extremely proud of the fact that he can read, and so am I. And he should be proud because he worked very hard. Shawn?
You can move it up.
It's a 6'1" mic.
Yeah.
All right, as you all know, my name is Shawn. Thank you, Anna. I was born and raised here in Guelph, in my early 40s. This here piece here tonight is a menu. The very first menu I was able to read before always having to order cheeseburger and french fry, because everybody always served cheeseburgers and french fries. A little bit about my background. I went to College Heights Secondary School for high school. I was a little bit of a troublemaker, kind of pushed through, slipped through the cracks, never learned how to read and write. I grew up with 2 sisters, one younger, one older. It was hard for me because I always picked on me. They could read and write, and I couldn't. My parents, well, they were laborers in a factory here in Guelph. My father had a grade 12 education, my mother with a grade 9 education. So school wasn't really much of a priority to them. I work now in a factory here in Guelph as a torch cutter. How I hid the fact that I could not read for so long. I had little tricks like a great memory. Little tricks like filling out resumes and stuff, using my driver's license to get street names, or even learn how to spell the word Guelph. 15 years of working midnight shift in a factory kind of got me down a little bit. I was always aggravated, frustrated, miserable. I came to the point where I quit my job because I couldn't do it anymore. So my plant manager told me if I got a doctor's note, he would put me on day shift. But day shift required a lot of reading. So I went to my doctor anyway, and I got the doctor's note. And as I was explaining to my doctor that reading and writing and all my other problems. Well, she told me if I decided to learn how to read and write, well, this could take care of a lot of my aggravations and frustrations. So that's when I found Action Read. I found Action Read, I came in, I met Emmett 5 years ago. He's a pretty good guy. Emmett and my father are the same age by 1 day. Emmett is 1 day younger than my dad. Now I can read, work day shift. No shame in telling people that I go to school to learn how to read and write. Maybe in the future I could have a job where I could learn how to use my brain instead of my hands. What's changed with my life is now when I go on vacations, I can sit at the airport and read a magazine instead of sleeping on the bench. Now, this menu is the first menu that I ever read and actually ordered a New York prime rib steak.
So I met Judy in 1992 when I was 10 years old, and I was teaching in the early childhood education department at Conestoga College, Dune campus, and Judy was one of the young women that I was working alongside with, and one of the first things that I began to really understand about Judy was that she has the most incredible spirit. This beautiful, beautiful spirit that is shines with genuine compassion for other people. And she definitely gifted those children with that compassion and that love, and a fierce integrity. Judy knows what it really means to stand up when things are not right and to, in your own way, speak out. And the last thing that really struck me so profoundly about Judy, which is such an important aspect of working with young children, was her genuine sense of awe about the world around her, and curiosity and learning. So I always knew that in her own good time, Judy would find her way to really show all of her truth to the world, and it's the right time. That's my truth. And so, that's what happens when you interrupt me. I lose my train of thought. It's called sometimers. So all I was going to say, Judy, was I'm honored to be here tonight to help all of you celebrate this amazing woman and the growth that she has worked so hard to attain.
Thank you, Jan. It's been such an honor to know you and be your friend, and it's been amazing because her and I have been in and out of each other's lives throughout the whole time, so it's magic. It's magical. It's meant to be. We're soulmates. And every time I see her, I get all the hairs in the back of my neck. Okay, I have to get to the next speech. So, I am the last one up, because because I get distracted easily, so it won't take it too long. So you've seen the Peter Pan book right here. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Courtney, you are an inspiration beyond belief. And also Shawn, the menu. I am going to Neverland and having one of those steaks that you said. All to run it on the border. And yeah, so I'll get to mine in a minute, but I have a lot, okay. Well, mine is not what I've read, but what I've written. You're going to find out I have a lot to say. After 46 years, I can finally say it. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good, Judy.
Okay, I was adopted into an educated family at the age of 2 in Guelph. They were both teachers. My dad became a principal, and my mom helped a school in the Philippines start a special education program. I had troubles from the get-go. No, I had school troubles from the get-go. Having multiple disabilities, physical, mental, and emotional, school was not set up for someone like me. I hated school. I had bad grades, no matter how much my parents tried to help me. School sucked. But I love to learn, that's the thing. It just wasn't happening for me at school. So after 18, she hasn't changed. This one. So after 18 years of trying to learn the school's way of teaching and failing, I had enough. I shut down. I had no self-esteem. I remember being in the van with my dad on the way home from failing college, where I was trying so hard to learn how to work with small children. And I was just screaming and bawling. I was losing it. Never ever would I step another foot in any kind of school again. So I was a picture of frustration, social anxiety, and pure anger. I'd been to Action Read once before. It was for a math class, which I absolutely, I don't like it at all. And I would always say math was M for mental, A for abuse, and for the human. So mental abuse for the human. So nothing could make me want to do math. So I said, forget it. A few years later, I'm home and the phone rings. Okay, so then a man's voice says, hello, Judy. This is Mr. Noonan calling from Action Read. How are you? And I'm kind of confused because he's talking so professional. And there happens to be a spot available for the creative writing group on Tuesday afternoons with Jan Sherman teaching. And she says you would fit right in. Okay. So I get off the phone and I'm like, oh man, I don't want to go back to school. Are you kidding me? But then, you know what? Guess who Mr. Noonan was? Mr. Noonan was my dad. And he called me pretending he didn't know. But the funny thing is, I didn't write it off right away. I was thinking about it, and I remember the name Jan Sherman. Like, she's the only person I remember from all my schooling who said I was worth it and I could learn. Like nobody else. Nobody else took the time in my most critical time in life and told me that I could still do it, and I could still learn. This stayed with me. And that's why I'm so excited. She was the one that could introduce me tonight. I came 4 times a week, and within a year, I was on the board of directors for Action Read. At Action Read, there's no judgment, no competition, and no testing. It's all supportive and about doing your personal best. Then 6 months later, I got my own tutor, Katie, and she is awesome. We meet once a week and work on my writing. Talk about people who know how to connect people. Oh my word. You know how to connect to one-on-one. It's amazing. She couldn't be here tonight. She's in her 20s and her mind blows me away. She's an old soul. She says I have something to say and that it matters. And now I can spell it. She opens me up and inspires me, and we are a lot alike. We like to advocate for things we care about. So that brings me to my museum box. I always felt different in life, you know, second best, issues from being adopted, and there just wasn't a place for me. Well, now I know there's a place for everyone. I spent my time standing up for other people. If there was injustice in my passion for equality, if there was injustice, my passion for equality fires up. I wrote the mayor to tell him about all the garbage in the city everywhere. We don't want to be living in a garbage bin. I Facebooked the councillor who rode the city bus and he said it was tough. I said, you should try to walk mobility and book a week in advance for everywhere you want to go. Yeah, I wrote the city about having them put in accessible washrooms in the exhibition park. Yeah, and there's one right by the fields, the soccer fields that's not. It has an accessible wheelchair, but it has a step to go up. Both the Premier and the Minister of Education about the changes to the curriculum and the school cuts.
Nice.
So yeah, I think it was Kevin or something, yeah. I want to be that person who embraces values such as equal worth of all citizens, the equal right to meet their basic needs, and the need to spread opportunity, and finally, the requirement that we reduce and where possible, eliminate unjust inequities. Inequities. And now I want to end with a quote my tutor said, things are only different because we labeled them that way. Thank you for listening.